Hey everybody, Jim Malone here. It is Dallas Trading Floor, and it is Thursday, the 27th of August. And it looks like Tesla is moved up, and hopefully, as I predicted, well, you never know, it looks like it is nearing its high. It really moved up today. And what I do expect is its peak is going to be either today or tomorrow, and then it will split 5 for 1, and it will start retrading on Monday. The day after the on Monday, it will start trading as split, and I'm predicting, just a prediction, this is about happens about 80% of the time, we're going to see the share price move down a little bit, and then it will start heading back up again on about September 3rd or 4th. So that is kind of what I think is going to happen to Tesla, and it's going to be exciting because this is going to give us a second bite at the apple. And by the way, Apple will also have a second bite too. So if don't despair if you didn't get into Tesla before this upwelling. Probably the best day to sell Tesla is either today or possibly tomorrow. Then wait for it to split, and then on the other side, on the 31st of August, that's when it will start trading. More than likely, it will trade down as on a split basis, and then it will go down a little bit as people reorganize their portfolios to sell off their excess shares. And then, because of the demand, I believe it will start heading up about on the 3rd or 4th of September. But let's see. You know, it's never 100% because I can't predict the future. And and by the way, I have no insider information whatsoever. I am a complete outsider. I don't have friends in high places. All I do is I watch the charts and I look at how they trade. So that's how I do it. I think that that's a good way to do it too, because you don't need any special knowledge. You just need to be kind of watching the charts and kind of what they do. So that's what I expect to happen with Tesla. I think it's going to trade up. Its high is either going to be today or tomorrow. And then after the split on the 31st, I do suspect it will start trading down on a split basis, and that will happen for about 3 or 4 days, or maybe even longer, maybe happen for a week. And then about the 3rd or 4th of September, I think then it will start heading up again. And I do believe it's going to head up again, but I do think we're going to see it back off a little bit. So that's an awesome trading opportunity. I know I'm getting all my dry powder ready to go for that because that's a quick way to make some good money on it. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and it's a good way to follow along. So let's get into it. Basically, we are still looking at a confirmed uptrend. The NASDAQ has backed off a little bit. It's at 11,637 when this slide was taken, but all the other indexes are up. The S&P is up, and so is the Dow Jones. So it's backing off a little bit on the NASDAQ, but it's up on the S&P and on the Dow Jones. And this is significant because we are seeing a little bit of, the QQQ, which is the Dow Jones 100, has been so incredibly strong. We are seeing it move back off a little bit, and we're seeing some movement of capital into the S&P and to the Dow Jones. So there may be some rebalancing going on. As you know, we had some interesting action on the Dow Jones. Some of the makeup of the Dow Jones was changed. Long time Dow Jones member, ExxonMobil, well, it's out. It's out. And this is Standard Oil. This is John D. Rockefeller's company. Couldn't you believe it? It's out. And the only big oil company left in the Dow is Chevron, which of course is also Texaco. So really the guy that's left last standing is Chevron Texaco. It's Standard Oil of California and Texaco that are combined. But it looks as if, believe it or not, Exxon may have trouble making its dividend. That would be horrible because Exxon has paid a dividend for like 100 years. I think they're one of the what they call the dividend aristocrats. And it just shows you the weakness in the oil markets. It's just it's absolutely amazing how weak it is that a company such as Exxon, which is just tremendous company, has been not just for last year or this year, but for 100 years. So we are seeing huge change. And actually, Tesla is part of this huge change that's happening right now. I do think that we are going to see a movement, at least partially, at least in the developed world, into some of these electric vehicles. Why? Because they're much less expensive to maintain, and also they're much less expensive to fuel as well. So there's a two to one advantage on them. And right now the prices are high, but it doesn't take long with mass production to see a difference. So that's what I think is going to happen going forward. So here we are. The S&P 500 is up today. And by the way, this is the SPDR. This is a very important ETF. Many people's retirements are in this. There are many accounts. Basically, this is an ETF that mimics the S&P 500 index. And right now, it's up again. It's at 348.98, which is absolutely amazing, because I thought it was amazing when it was over 300, but now it's almost 350. So do I think that there's going to be a pullback before the election? I certainly don't know. I certainly don't have any inside information. Remember, I'm the guy without any inside information, but the charts are telling me no. The charts are telling me we're going to be very strong into the election. Now, does this translate to Main Street? No, not really. This is all that excess money, that's all this excess liquidity that's being pushed into these markets, but it still means that you can make money in the market. So right now the market's looking good with the SPDR up to 348. So it's pretty tremendous when it comes to that. Now, the Qs, on the other hand, and normally this is the most powerful of the ETFs, is the QQQ. And this follows the NASDAQ 100, the 100 largest stocks in the NASDAQ. And by the way, a lot of the great stocks are in there, like Apple, and also, but interestingly enough, Tesla, is in this as well, but it's not in the S&P. So kind of interesting there. Normally, it's the QQQ, which represents the NASDAQ 100. This is what leads the stocks, but not today. Not today. This is not leading today. It's off a little bit, just slightly, but the volume is up. So that kind of tells me a little bit. By the way, when you see it down a little bit and the volume is up, there might be a change in characteristics here. We might see, though we're not there yet, we might see a distribution day, and I'll go into that in more detail, but there may be some profit taking here. We may be seeing a peak. And this is part of, I think, what's keying, and I suspect part of the reason for this is that Tesla is reaching its peak. Kind of what I've been talking about kind of as nauseum for the last 2 or 3 weeks. This is typically how splits trade. But because this is such a big split, it's having a lot to do with the QQQ. So that's what I think is happening. I think we're going to see a little bit of weakness in the market probably on August 31st and afterwards, just based on the charts. So can I predict the future? Absolutely not. But this is kind of what the charts are telling me. So let's look at Tesla itself, because this is a very, this is a very interesting stock. This is the daily chart on Tesla, and currently, when this was taken, Tesla was trading at 2227.74. This is just phenomenal. Do you know that currently Tesla is now larger than GM, Ford, Chrysler, and Toyota, and I think Daimler put together in terms of market valuation? So this is really a sea change. This doesn't happen very often, maybe once in a generation, and it's going up. I do believe that we're going to see this pull back a little bit after the split, because that's typically the pattern. As people get those new split shares, they're going to then sell them out into the market, which is going to cause a little bit of downward pressure. Now, overall, is it going to go down? No, it's going to pull back a little bit, and then I think it's going to continue to march higher. But on this pullback, we have an opportunity to make some nice little profit as it pulls back. So I will show you that in just a second, again, how I'm going to be trading Tesla. Here's how I'm going to be trading Tesla, and I've put out a number of videos on this. We are currently right here where we're almost at the peak. I suspect it's either going to be today or tomorrow where it's going to reach the peak, Tesla is. And then as we come through the split, which will happen, and we will have the split shares trading as split shares. That'll be on Monday. That will be the 31st of August. That's when they'll start trading, and then they will start trading down a little bit. And why? Well, it's not anything to do with Tesla being a bad stock or anything. It's a great stock. But the reason they're going to be probably trading down a little bit is because people are going to be rebalancing their portfolios. All of a sudden, they'll have all these shares. They'll sell some of them. They'll rationalize your portfolio, and that will cause a little bit of downward pressure, probably for about a week or so. And then once those are rebalanced, once those portfolios are rebalanced and the funds are buying into them, then I think we'll see it move up. So I will probably be a buyer when the thing starts to change direction, and that's in the second little diagram here. Post-split, that's when it's going to start to move up. So I'm not going to be buying on the 31st. I'm not going to be buying Tesla on the 31st. I'm going to wait until it dips, and then as it dips, and then when it starts to chug back up, I'll probably be at it as well, and I'll be buying them. And by the way, this is going to be the same kind of general idea that Apple is going to be trading as well. So that's another way to go there. Now, as a special bonus today, I want to show you a very interesting stock that my intern found that I think is tremendous. Now, the next great, what I consider kind of event, and I kind of trade for event to event, because I think Tesla and electric cars are definitely an event, but I think the next great upcoming event is going to be the 5G revolution, and this is going to change a lot of things. Now, interestingly enough, there's all the new Apple phones, which are coming out, by the way, on the 31st of September, they all are going to have RF chips in them. And these RF chips are made by a number of manufacturers, some of which I've featured, like Qorvo and Skyworks. But here's a really small one that I think might be a tremendous play. Now, right now, it's not ready to go. It's a very cheap stock. So typically, I don't recommend buying stocks that are under $10 just because they typically are more volatile than the ones that are over that. But I think that this is one you might want to watch list. And by the way, this is on our list of, this is on our small, just gems, high quality, small list. And and you will be able to get access to that super duper easy. And I'm going to show you that right now by going to, and here it is, going to Dallas Trading Floor, www.Dallas Trading Floor, and the splash page comes up, and you want to look at the lower right-hand corner. Just put your name, first and last name in there, and your email in there, and it's free to subscribe. And I'll send you a link to the small portfolio, and I'm going to show you one that it just came on the list. So it's a kind of a cool one to look at, and that is this top-rated stock called Resonant, RESN. Currently, it's trading for $2.66. Not a great thing, but the buy point on this one, now I wouldn't buy it at this price. This is too low, but the buy point on this is $2.98. So if it exceeds $2.98, then I'm interested in possibly going into the stock. Now, there are some things about this stock. It has a fairly low composite rating at 78. I typically like to see an 80 composite rating or better, but it's very close. And also, it's a little bit too cheap now at $2.66. I want to see it move up a little bit off this 50-day moving average, but it's definitely showing some conviction because we have some very good volume here. So this is one of the ones I'm watch listing on my small portfolio. And for everybody watching on TikTok, it's super duper easy to get the action trade alerts. Just go to my bio, hit the link, and it'll bring up a screen that'll allow you to put in your name, first name and last name, and then your email address, and you'll be on the action trade alerts. And by the way, it's totally free, nothing to buy or anything like that. Just so you can see kind of how I'm trading these, and it's a good idea. Some of the ideas, and then I also answer your questions offline if you answer questions offline at www.Dallas Trading Floor. So that is a kind of a cool way to go when it comes to that. So sign up for that. Now, just before I get to the questions, I have my last thing. Now, you're going to look at this and you go, wow, this guy doesn't own anything. Well, that's right, because I've been selling out of stuff, getting ready for the dip on Tesla, which I'm probably going to take advantage of next week. So I only own Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, and Skyworks. Man, I've sold everything. I've sold Dollar General. I've just sold everything. I've sold my Neo. It pulled back. Made a little bit of money on that. Of course, that's on the small portfolio. But the only thing I'm holding right now are these 4 stocks. Can you believe it? And the best performer, surprise, surprise, is Microsoft, which is up $6.94 today, or 3.14%. Now, Microsoft has been a perennial favorite of mine for about the last 3 years. It just, when I can't figure out what to buy, boy, I always look at Microsoft, and it seems to always come through. So there you go. That's my portfolio now. Now, it will change. You'll see some more Apple, and you'll see some more Tesla in it next week when it dips. But for right now, that's where I'm at. So just giving you an idea there. So I want to open it up for some questions. And thank you very much for everybody that's looking at me on YouTube. Really appreciate that. By the way, if you are looking at me on YouTube, I would really super duper appreciate if you could like and subscribe to me. That helps me and helps keep the show on the air and growing, and I just so appreciate it. So thank you very, very much for that. Okay, so the first question I have is NVIDIA. NVIDIA, they have an announcement on Monday. Probably, they're trying to call me from some junk call. Trying to call me on my iPhone, which I'm broadcasting on TikTok, so I had to decline that one. They have an announcement on Monday, probably new graphics cards, probably. Let's take a look at the chart. Now, here's the thing. I typically don't like to buy any, I mean, even though this might be news, I don't like to I want to see kind of what's going to happen, but I do agree with you. I think, NVIDIA has just been a tremendous stock. I've basically, I don't know how long you've been watching me, but back in February, I was trying to raise the flag on NVIDIA at 284 because that was a buy point on NVIDIA back in February. So it's just been tremendous. NVIDIA now has a larger market capitalization than does, than does Intel. And that's just incredible because Intel is sort of it is the, along with Texas Instruments, they practically invented the microprocessor. So, it's an amazing thing, the rise of NVIDIA. But NVIDIA, the reason NVIDIA, of course, is so significant is because they produce a lot of the AI chips. And it's just a tremendous thing. So let's look at the chart of NVIDIA real quick. Thank you very much for this question. It looks as if we are very extended on this. There was a buy point. It is pulled back a little bit. I do think that, if you want to buy this, and it always is good, wait until it pulls back to, and I don't know if it will pull back, frankly, to the 50-day line. But there's 2 great ways to buy a stock, and one is in a formation, such as a cup with handle or a cup or thereabouts. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, there is a very good book that you should possibly pick up at Half Price Books. It's called How to Make Money in Stocks: A Winning System, Good Times or Bad, by William O'Neill. And I don't get anything from recommending it, but most of the top traders in the world use some of the O'Neill the theories of how to buy stocks. So I certainly do, and this is a great way to go. But NVIDIA may pull back to the 50-day moving average, but that's 425. So it's pretty extended right now. I wouldn't be a buyer right now in this. It looks like it's just gone through earnings, and there's been there right before earnings. This is another thing tactically that you want to be careful about, and I'll show you this on the chart, is that we see this huge spike. It was right before earnings. They had great earnings too, by the way, up 76%. In this last quarter. But typically what will happen is the stock will run up until its earnings, and then when the earnings happen, people will sell, and that's exactly what's happened today. So wait on this one until we see some strength or a pullback to the 50-day moving average. That's my advice on this one right now, and that hopefully will be profitable for you. But right now this is a watch list and not a buy until it pulls back to the 50-day. There you go. Should I sell my Tesla shares or keep them? Well, it depends. You know what? I sold mine. Why? Because on the other side, Tesla is more than likely going to back off on a split-adjusted basis. But I'll be buying them back. I'm not out of Tesla. I'm just out of Tesla through the split. So I'm selling my shares today. Well, I've sold them, actually. I've sold them pre-sold. Before today, I actually sold them because I wanted to get my dry powder ready. And I had met my profit goals, so I sold them. I'm waiting on the other side. I think there's going to be a pullback after the 31st of August. So that's when I'm going to be buying him back. But it won't be probably until the 3rd or 4th of September that I'll actually be moving into the market. But right now, if you want to get the highest price, I believe, and of course, this is all about belief, that you'll get your highest price either today or tomorrow. That's just been my experience with it. So very, very, very good question on that. All right. What about Walmart and TikTok? Interesting company. You know, I haven't heard this. Is Walmart going to buy TikTok? Wow, that would be absolutely incredible. If that were the case, man, I would be buying some Walmart stock. I just don't know. I haven't heard this. I'll have to research this one. But WMT. Okay. Well, let me just see Walmart. Well, push. Look at that. You might be right. So let me see if I can find any article on Walmart and TikTok. And TikTok. Wow, that would be a very interesting combination. Walmart is teaming up with Microsoft on. Wow, what do you know? This is very interesting. Okay, this is flash news. Flash news. Here we go. Okay, well, the flash news isn't my blocker. It hopefully okay. I'm going to continue there. Well, I've got to unblock it. Sorry about this. This is, this is what you got to do sometimes. Sometimes when you have that ad blocker on. So let me see if I can get this up for you there. But this is the headline, and thank you very much for this. This is interesting. I didn't even know this was going on. Well, it looks like, according to CNBC, Walmart is going to possibly, let's see if I can move this up a little bit. Yeah, Walmart and maybe teaming up with Microsoft and TikTok. This is fascinating. So thank you, Walmart and Microsoft, for making my little show on TikToks more viable. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope that happens. Wow, if it does, I'm a buyer of. If this happens, wow, I'm going to be very interested in buying some Walmart stock, because then Walmart becomes a player in the media space. Wow, that is very, very interesting. Thank you for sharing that very much, Thomas. I do appreciate that. That is a very, very interesting thing. I'm not going to go get the split shares. How do they square up? I don't know what to say. I'm not going. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know about Square. Are you talking about Square, or are you talking about Apple and Tesla? If you're talking about Apple and Tesla, they probably will, once they split on the 31st, that's Monday, I believe they will back off a little bit. And I showed that a little bit earlier on how I'm trading. I'm trading it. And I'm going to probably issue an action trade alert on that. If you want to get on the list for the action trade alerts, and by the way, it's totally free, just subscribe. And it's so easy. www.dallastradingfloor.com, and just put your name and first and last name in there and email address. You'll be put right on the list, and you'll get those action trade alerts as they come out. So that could be very, very interesting. Thoughts on Vive? This is one of my favorite stocks. I was trading. I haven't been in this one in a while, but I have done very, very well with Vive. It is an IBD stock. It is called Viva Systems. It's based in beautiful Pleasanton, California. And what they do is a very interesting thing. 85% of all the drug companies use their software. It's a cloud-based system that allows them to go and create approvals for the drugs as they go through the regulation processes. So it's a very, very powerful stock. All the companies are buying it. It looks like it's up. Now this isn't with this. You're not going to buy this on this particular pattern, because the last buy point on this one was $176.90. And that was back a while ago. So it's trading for $271. That's pretty extended. The way you're going to have to buy this one, if you want to buy this one, and I think this looks very good, by the way, this is a very good chart, is to buy it on a pullback to the 50-day moving average. And currently, as you can see, that's exactly what some people here did. They pulled it on. It pulled back on this red bar of 3 days ago. It pulled back to 251, And boom, the algos came in there and they bought it. So wait until this thing pulls back to the 50-day, and you might have a very good buy. That's where I would buy it, at the 50-day. Now, for everybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about, sounds like gibberish. It kind of does. The 50-day is this little red line that moves above this black line. The black line is the 200-day moving average, and the red line is the 50-day moving average. Now, when the red line, the 50-day moving average, crosses the black line, the 200-day moving average, this is what they call the golden cross. It's crossing above the 200-day. So it's very bullish. And you notice how this just pulls right up along this 50-day moving average. You can tell that there's a lot of programming trading going on here, because as it pulls back just slightly to the 50-day line, boom, there's buying. So that's the place to buy it. Remember, in this business, we are minnows. We are just little minnows, and we're following along the whales, and we're seeing what the whales do. If the whales are eating, we're eating, and if the whales aren't, we aren't. So if it pulls back to the 50-day moving average, that may be a place that you can buy VEEV. And I think it's an excellent stock, and I think you'll do very well with it. I've definitely traded it, so I know its characteristics pretty well, and I think it actually, believe it or not, may be going higher. And that's amazing, because at 271, it's not a cheap stock anymore. When I was trading it, it was more in the line of about 150. So, but it just shows you how much this market has just moved up. It is just incredible. I mean, in this market, there really is, you really can make money buying and holding. Typically, you can't. But wow, VEEV is an incredibly good stock. So, definitely something that you want to be definitely in, or at least watch listing, because I think it's really good. Now let me look at, I'm looking here at the people that have watched me on TikTok, and thank you so much for taking a look at me here on TikTok. I do appreciate it. Wow, I've got a lot of comments here. I'm just trying to go to this first. Okay, NIO. What happened? What happened with NIO? And why did Jim sell NIO? Well, I sold NIO because of this is what I do. If I get into a stock and it's moving up quickly, I always put a stop loss in. And the reason I do is because there many times is a pullback. Well, it looks like, has it pulled back again? Well, I can't tell. It looks as if it may have gone up even more. Wow, look at that. Well, okay. When did I get out? Okay, so it's 1991. So I could be wrong on these too. So it's trading at 1993. Now let's see where I actually got out of NIO, because NIO may be, I may have gotten out of it too soon. So let's look at where I sold NIO, because I don't remember. Well, it looks as if I sold it at 1936. So I basically sold it where it is now. So let's look at NIO. Okay, this is the one I sold yesterday, and I sold it at 1936, and it's currently trading at 1993. So I probably sold it a little bit too early, but it did have a pullback, and I always set my stop loss up, and I try to sell if it pulls back too much. I'm afraid, of course, it's going to continue to go down. But look at it today. Wow, it's up $5.80. Wow, that is really good, and it's up on good volume. So, I may have to get back into the stock because I may have to get it back into it. But right now, it doesn't show a good enough pattern for me to get in. But it may be time to get back in tomorrow. So that's what it's saying to me. I always try to protect my gains, and we may be back in NIO tomorrow. Can you believe that? Wow. Thank you for that question, though. I so appreciate it, because that gives me, because just because you've sold a stock doesn't mean you can't come back in and buy a stock again. I buy and sell stocks many times as they go up. So that's a great way to go. And I think that, it looks strong once again. So I may have sold too early, but did I sell too early? Well, selling is not a finality. You sell, and then you wait to see what's going to happen. If it goes further up, then you buy it again. So there you go. And always remember, when you buy it, place a stop loss 7% below where you bought it. So if you buy it at 20, you're going to want to place that stop loss at 7% below that. So an easy way to calculate it is take the money that you paid for it, multiply it times 0.93. That's going to give you the stop loss number. That's where you put it in. Go till cancel. So, saw your Tesla grass. Oh, thank you very, very much. Yeah, you know what? Thank you for this question. I appreciate it. and I want to show everybody that again, because basically what I'm doing here, and you say, well, how do I know that's going to happen? Well, you know what? The reason I know this is because this is how splits trade most of the time. Most of the time, over 80% of the time after stock split, they're going to trade in this kind of this kind of way. So I'm going to show you this chart again. By the way, for everybody looking on TikTok, I'm actually showing these charts on YouTube. So if you could jump over to YouTube, it's super easy. YouTube.com/Dallas Trading Floor, and you'll see what I'm doing. And this is episode number 119, just so you'll know. Dallas Trading Floor 119. So we have the two kind of where we are. Now we're currently before August 28th, and we're reaching the peak of the price of Tesla. I do believe that Tesla, at least in the short term, is going to trade at its highest level either today or early tomorrow. And then once it splits 5 for 1, and of course the first day of split is going to be the 31st of August, that's when you're going to see it dip a little bit on the split shares. Now, they will start to move back higher, I believe, probably in about 3 or 4 days. By the end of the week, I think you're going to see it start to trade up. But initially, it's going to back off a little bit, and then it's going to come up. I'm getting ready to wait until it dips, and then I will be back in. And that's this secondary chart here. It'll sort of dip down, and this will be about a week or so. And then as it starts to move up, then I'll be a buyer. Try to buy only when it's on an uptick. So when it's moving up, you want to be buying it. If it's moving down, wait a little bit until it changes its direction, until it moves up. Always buy an uptick, set your stop losses, and that way you can definitely save some money, and you can probably get a better run of the stock. So that's how I play it, and I think that's a good way to do it. What are your thoughts on Apple? Well, it's pretty much the same on Apple. Apple hasn't been quite as powerful as Tesla, probably because Apple, there's so many people. Apple is a very, very, very large company. As a matter of fact, it's a $2 trillion company. That's a record. I think it's the most valuable company in the world right now. And it's, of course, splitting 5 for 1. Now, it's backed off a little bit. It's trading at about 500. It did trade above at about, I think it was high, its high was about 520. I do believe that it's sort of reaching its peak, at least prior to the split. And I think we're going to see it pull off a little bit. But right now, it's trading at $500.04 per share. I do believe this is going to be the peak either today or early tomorrow of where it's going to trade prior to the split. Post-split, though, I think it's going to go higher on a split-adjusted basis. But that's not going to happen probably until about, I think, Thursday or Friday next week, or September 3rd or 4th. So here's a way to play it. If you do have Tesla, if you do have Apple shares, and I do have Apple shares right now, I will be selling them tomorrow. I've already sold them; they're pre-sold. I will be selling them tomorrow. But when it comes through the split, I will wait from August 31st. I will wait until we start to move down, and then probably on the 3rd or 4th of September, that's when I'm going to be moving to buy them again as they move back up. So it's pretty much the same chart pattern as you have with Tesla. So it's kind of a cool thing. All right, when do you think holding Tesla? When do you think holding Tesla until tomorrow? Yeah, I would, if I had Tesla shares right now, and I've already sold my Tesla shares, I would be probably looking to sell either at the end of the day or possibly early tomorrow before about 2 o'clock Eastern time. I don't think it's a good idea to sell in the last 30 minutes of trading, just because it tends to get, everybody's trying to get it in. But I would sell them not in extended hours, but in regular hours. And then I would wait, come through, and then buy the split shares, but on the rebound, probably on about the 34th of September. So that's how I'm thinking to do it. So let's take another question from, okay, thoughts of me. What do you think about BMCH? Let me look at that, Hamza. Let me see about BMCH. BMCH. All right, so let's take a look. BMC Holdings. This is a very interesting one. Wow. Many years ago when I lived in Silicon Valley, I lived in Monterey, California, and there was a guy there named John J. Morris, and he was the founder of BMC. He had his own private jet, so in a lot more ritzy subdivision than I was. He lived in Pebble Beach. I didn't live in Pebble Beach, but I lived close. Very cool. This is a cool company. BMC Software started in Sugar Land, Texas, but now I think it is in San Diego. I'm not exactly sure where they've oh, they're in Raleigh, North Carolina. Okay, so that's kind of, is it the same one? Oh, I am sorry. BMC Stock Holdings, not well. Anyways, it's in North Carolina. So forget what I told you about BMC. It was BMC Software, not BMC Holdings. So I was wrong about this. Wow, it is gapped up today. Definitely, it looks as if I don't know what the event was today, but we definitely had a gap up here. The problem is I don't really have a way to buy this. The pivot on this one is $28, and it's currently selling for $39.45. So this is a little bit high for me to buy. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad stock. I think it's a very good chart, but I just don't have a way to buy that. The only way I can buy that is if it pulls back to the 50-day moving average, or it's in a good base. And the last time the base was happening was a few days ago, so it was a few weeks ago. So I can't really buy this one. I think it's a very good chart. I would wait for a base pattern to start to appear. Okay. Oh, can you repeat when it's a good time to sell Apple? Okay. Again, I have no insider information. I am not an insider. I am as about an outsider trader as you can get. Even though it looks like I'm sitting on the New York Stock Exchange here, I'm really not. Here's the thing with Apple. I believe it's going to reach its peak either today or tomorrow prior to its split. It's going to be splitting 4-for-1, and the first day that the split shares are going to be trading is on the 31st of August. So I believe that today is a good day to sell them, and tomorrow is a good day to sell them. Then I would wait until the split shares start trading on the other side, which is August 31st. And I believe they're going to trade down for a little bit, not for very long because everybody wants to be at Apple. And I think then they're going to start trading up probably on about the 3rd or 4th of September. So that's how I would play it. That's how I would play that. And it's how I am going to play it because I have Apple right now and I'm going to be selling it tomorrow as well. So what do you think of PayPal? I love PayPal. PayPal is one of my absolute favorite stocks. I have been trading it. I don't currently own it, but I think it's the new Visa. Everybody loves Visa so much, but I love PayPal. And look, it looks like it almost has a viable pattern. Let me just show you this chart. And what do I mean by viable pattern? Well, there's several really good places to buy a stock. One of them is when they're coming out of a pattern such as a cup and handle or cup or 3-week tight or double bottom. The other was the pullback to the 50-day moving average when you have a tight formation. And we definitely have a tight formation there. So I would be looking to buy this if I saw a pullback to, and I don't know if it'll pull back this far, but about 183, 185, I would be a buyer in this. This is a watch list stock right now because the last full cup pattern that we had a buy point of 124.45 11 weeks ago. So it's 11 weeks beyond that pattern, but I do think that there is an opportunity to buy this one if it pulls back to the 50-day moving average. And currently it is not. It has moved up strongly, but wait for a down day, wait for it to pull back to the 50-day moving average, and then don't buy it as it's moving down, but when it reverses course and moves above, which I think it will, then that's a good time to get into the stock. So this is definitely a wait list. I love the stock. PayPal is a great story. It's a great stock, and tons of people. It's the future. I think it's better than Visa, to be honest with you. And people like Visa as well. Okay, Microsoft. I actually own Microsoft right now, and Microsoft is the gift that keeps on giving. Whenever I can't figure out where to put my money, I look to see a pullback on Microsoft, and then I'm there. And look at this today. It's just amazing. Now, is it time to buy? Well, I don't know. It's very streaky. But look, I bought it right there, basically when it pulled back to the 50-day moving average, and that was basically 3 days ago. 3 days ago is when I bought it. And why did I buy it? I bought it because it pulled back to the 50-day, and it certainly has not not disappointed. It's moved right up. Wow. So let's look at the daily chart to see if how that looks. Well, yeah, there we go. There's a little bit of a pullback, and then when it pulled back, boom, it went up. And look at that volume, very nice volume. I think that Microsoft is going to continue its move higher. Now, would I be a buyer at this level at 226? No, I would wait until it pulls back a little bit. A little bit. Let me just take a quick look at my at my small list where I bought it to see. Okay, I bought it at 209. So let me show you that. Okay. In my portfolio, I bought that at 209 4 days ago, and it's currently 226. Okay, that's pretty good. That's 8% up in 4 days. So that's why you want to use these technicals, because they can definitely be very nice when it comes to looking at that. So let's look at it 4 days ago. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you see you see that pullback there? That's a little. It's a kind of a little. It's 5 days ago there was a pullback on this down day. This little red bar here, and then the very next day it moved higher, and that's when I moved into the stock. So with a stock like this, when you have a pullback, and this is definitely a pullback, you want to buy it as it's reversing course on the uptick. So that's kind of where I bought it, and a nice little run there, and maybe it'll run higher, who knows. But what I'm going to do on this is I'm going to set my stop loss up, and right now it's up, but I'm going to move it up further, and if it reverses back down, of course I'm going to be sold out and then take the profit. So I really like Microsoft, and I think it's a great way to go. So let me just show you that chart once again. There we go. We had a little pullback 5 days ago, and then as it reversed course, that's when I was in. I moved it right up, boom, and I'm going to move my stop loss up as well, and then when it pulls back, I will be sold out probably, but I will be making some money there. So hopefully you'll see that. Now, if you want to see how I'm trading a stock, I have I have a list, and it's totally available. All you have to do is go to www.Dallas Trading Floor, and I need your first and last name and also your email address, and then you'll be put right on the list, and I'll send you a link so that you can see the small portfolio. And this is what I have on the small portfolio. It's kind of neat in that it shows you kind of what I'm in currently. And as you can see, I'm mostly in cash right now. I'm getting ready to buy some Tesla and Apple on the rebound. I'm getting ready to do that. And then this is what I have sold. This is my profit or loss. And you can see I haven't made all winners. I've made some losers in there, but mostly winners. And then the most important thing is I have this thing called the watch list. And the watch list tells you, is it in a buy zone or not? Or is it extended? And there you go. So there's several things that are in a buy zone right now. That some of the things I've acted on, some of the things haven't. But right now, the only thing that I have that's in the buy zone is CRISPR technology, CRSP. I also have. I just put this in there, and you will see this. It's a 5G stock, but I haven't actually put it in there yet. Resident, there it is. I just put it in, but it's not in the buy zone. It's just right below the buy zone. So if this thing exceeds $2.98, I'm probably going to buy it. So you can see this, so everyone can see this. Super easy. All you have to do is go to Dallas Trading Floor, and then in the lower right-hand corner, just fill in your name and address, and I will send you the link so you can see this. And of course, it's all free. So, anyways, let's see. Next question from TikTok. Okay. How long have you been trading? Well, I don't really want to reveal my age. I've been trading basically since the 80s, since before the big meltdown in 1986. I've had stocks since I was 12 years old. The first stock I ever owned was Texaco, which became part of Chevron, and it's actually in the Dow. So I have been trading for a long time because I am kind of old. Ooh, it's wow. Where did those years go? I mean, but anyways, they did. No, I've been trading for over 30 years. And I started out very small. I started out just really small. I started out with a few shares of Texaco, and then I been trading up ever since. So it's never too late to start, and it's never too early to begin. So I'm really a fan of trading stocks because as an average guy, and I am average. I mean, I came from a very average background. Um, by trading stocks, I've always been able to make money in them. It's amazing. Even in the downturns, I've been able to short stocks. So there's a lot of stuff to go. So thank you very much for that question. But it's never too late or never too early to get involved in stocks because it is probably the great American profit machine. At least I think it is. Now, we are in a very good time right now, but you can make money in stocks even in bad markets. I definitely have. So there you go. All right, so here we go. What kind of wish ID not put a stop loss in place? Well, I think if you don't put a stop loss in place, you are going on emotion, and sometimes that works. I mean, absolutely, sometimes that works. But you know why I want to put stop losses in and move them up? Because that way I don't have to look at the screen all day. I just put them in, and if they get sold out, so what? I don't care. I usually will make a profit that way. And if not, I will protect my portfolio. I'll protect the loss. The biggest problem that most people have is they get into a few stocks, they do incredibly well, and then they say, well, I know what I'm doing, which, we never know what we're doing. We have to have a little bit of humility. And then they don't put a stop loss in, and then the thing goes back down, and then they say, well, it'll come back. Kind of like the people that were investing in American Airlines earlier on. And I got a lot of questions on this show about American Airlines, UAL, Delta, all the airlines, and everybody was saying, wow, they're so great. Or Carnival Cruise Lines. That was very big on Robinhood a few weeks ago. Well, these guys are going down, 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 and probably not coming back. Had people had stop losses, boy, they would have saved a lot of money. But you know what? That's the thing. Don't think that a stock cannot reverse on you. Believe me, it can, and it can fast. So that's why you want to always put a stop loss in. Remember, stop loss. Every time you buy a stock, multiply it times 0.93. That's going to give you a number. You put that in good till cancel, and that's going to protect you against catastrophic loss. Why 7 or 8%? Because Jesse Livermore in the 1920s calculated that this was the ultimate place to be, because any more than that, and it's almost impossible to come back to make good on a stock that come back to zero. So at least at 78%, you can come back to zero and then possibly do better. Beyond that, not so much. So that's what I think about stop loss, and I think you should always put them in because they're available. So can we look at MMM? 3M. 3M is an interesting company. Boy, I haven't heard 3M in a long time. But they make those COVID masks. I'm not real. I haven't been a buyer of 3M in a awful. Was it 3M company? Well, I apologize. I thought, yeah, 3M company. Yeah, and this is an okay stock. This is an okay stock, not a great stock, and I'll show you why it isn't a great stock. If you can see, we definitely have a moving average that's moving up, so that's good. Let's look at the weekly chart, because that's how you start to look at a stock. You kind of look at it from 20,000 feet, and then you move in closer, kind of like Google Earth. Well, look at that chart. Ouch! It is going the wrong way. I wouldn't buy this. You know why? Because it is starting high and going low. Well, that is a bad chart pattern. The first thing that you look at before considering buying a stock is what is the direction, what is the general direction, and here's how you find that. Now, I know this sounds very obvious to a lot of people, but believe me, most people in the stock market, they just buy a stock on a tip, and they hope and they pray that it'll come up. All I'm trying to do is improve your odds of winning, and one of the ways that you win is by first looking at the direction of the stock. This is a bad direction. Why? Because it's going down. Now, even though it does have a cup and handle and probably is going to move higher, this is a base pattern, I still wouldn't buy it. And you know why? Because I don't like to risk a stock that's going the wrong way. Let's look at a stock that's going the right way. Okay, 3M is going the wrong way. We know that. But let's look at a company that is going the right way. Let's look at PayPal, PYPL. Now, of course, they're not in the manufacturing business, but let's look at PayPal. Now, let's compare. This stock is going up. It's going from the lower left-hand corner to the upper right-hand corner. this is the kind of stock you want to be in. So before you consider buying a stock, and I'm not saying that 3M is bad, but right now it's not as good as PayPal. So look at the stock, look at the direction before you even consider buying it. And unfortunately, when I do that with 3M, I'll pass. I'll pass. Sell Apple today or tomorrow. I think today is a good day to sell Apple, but I also think tomorrow will be up until about 2 o'clock. So why do I say that? Because typically in the last hour of trading, you're going to see a lot of institutional, and I think you may not get your best price because I think there's going to be a lot of institution selling, and they may push the price down a little bit. But who knows? I mean, you never can check. This is true in about 80% of the time. Am I 100% right? No, not in your life. Because again, I am the man with no insider information at all. I just look at the charts. That's all. That's all I do. Okay. How would you recommend that I set my stop loss for Tesla when my cost price is? Oh, okay. My fear is that if the stop loss is too high, I'll lose some shares needlessly. Well, okay. Well, here's the thing: you really don't have to worry that much because you've got such a low, such a, you know. Here's the thing: you've just held on to the stock and let it rock. Fantastic. I don't know if you want to set a stop loss. I would set a stop loss at about, in your case, and this is only in your case, I wouldn't set a stop loss at 90% at 93%. I wouldn't do that. I'd set it at about 75%. So, I think I don't know how much is going to back off, but I think that in your particular case, you want to set the stop loss much lower. I agree with you. If you don't want to sell those shares, and I can see why you wouldn't, you have a very, very good cost basis. Most people are going to be trading this. I've been in and out of Tesla almost 25 times since December of last year. So I'm trading the stock and I'm not owning the stock. You're different. You're an owner. So I would look to put it, I would put it at no more than 70% in your particular case. Right now, it's selling for about $2,000 a share, but you want to make sure that you adjust your stop losses after it comes through. Now, most brokerages will adjust your stop losses for you, but here's what I would recommend doing because there might be an issue: is I would set my stop loss good till cancel till the 28th tomorrow at basically 70% of what it's currently trading at. So if, let's say it's trading at $2,000, I think it's trading at $2,200, but let's just say $2,000, we're going to look at a stop loss of about $1,400 on that. You just want to have that in case there's a catastrophic meltdown. Probably won't be a catastrophic meltdown in your case. So congratulations. You should be popping some corks. That's excellent. I can see why you don't want to be too high on that, and that is terrific. All right, so I sold my Tesla. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Get ready to buy it back because it's going to dip, and you're going to get a nice movement on it. So I think you've really got some really nice. I think you probably got some really nice profits. So pop a cork. You've done well, absolutely, and that's great. I get excited about when I hear that. All right, so. Wow, and this is very interesting information. Walmart is buying TikTok. If that is true, man, I could be in Walmart. That's been my dream, is to be in Walmart. I may be in Walmart. Wow, that would be great. If I can, and people out there, you got to help me. I need to become a bigger guy on TikTok. I need to be, and thank you for everyone watching me on TikTok and also on YouTube too. Because if I'm hoping that I can be bigger, and I appreciate it. Tell all your friends about it. If Walmart is buying TikTok, wow, that is awesome news. Thank you for bringing that up. I so appreciate it. Okay, so let's see. Why the drop in NIO? Well, I don't know. Chinese companies are tough. I sold out of NIO, as you all know. And why did I sell that? Not because I have some special information. I certainly don't. The only reason I sold out of it is because I put my stop loss in and I pushed it up. So right now, let's look at NIO, and NIO's an interesting company. So right now, let's look at NIO. Well, NIO is trading currently for $19.88. Well, let's see where I sold that out. I'm not sure. It's funny. I have a very short attention span. When I sell them out, I do it and then I forget where I did it. So I write it down because I'm not sure. All right, so yeah, I sold it, but almost basically where it's trading now. So So let's see. It's trading now. I sold it out at 1936 is where I sold it out. And it's trading at, what is it trading at? 1988. So I left a little bit of money on the table. Who cares? I'll wait until it pulls back to a correct buying position. I'll probably be in it again. So, but yeah, that's what's stocks don't always go up. Sometimes they pull back. I don't think necessarily NIO is going away, but I think it possibly has pulled back a little bit. There is a buy recommendation on it. It's a 99% on relative strength, so it may be back to on Friday or Monday. So, anyways, okay, check. Yeah, okay. Thank you, man. I am tracking NIO. NIO is one of the stocks I've been in, and it's kind of a cool stock. So hopefully, I'm going to have more of these stocks that are tradable. What happens when I get in the morning, I take a look to see what has been sold out of, and if I do, I update the chart so you can see where the buy point was, where I was sold out, and hopefully I'm going to try to modify this a little bit to show you where I'm setting my stop loss so that you'll know that too. I don't have it in this chart. I just have to modify it. It's just a question of getting to everything, and I just haven't gotten to everything. But I thank you for looking at the portfolio. I so appreciate it. Okay, so what time frame do you use when you look at the 50 to 200-day moving average cross? Well, it's not. I always look when I'm looking at charts that have those averages. So let's look at. I'm trying to think of a good stock that might be a good example of that. So let's look at NVIDIA. NVDA. Okay, that's NVIDIA. So let's see if we can show that. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's look at how that would look. Now, obviously, in this case, you want to be looking in the weekly chart, okay? You don't necessarily have to use the software I'm using. I'm using MarketSmith, which is a very good program. But you don't have to use MarketSmith. There's many free programs out there. They're excellent. And sometimes the coloring is different, but the 50-day moving average is going to be crossing the 200-day, and that is a bullish symbol. Now, why do I say that? Look at how this is trading. This is an NVIDIA company. Now, when it crossed, when the 50-day crossed the 200-day, that was September of last year. Now, look at this run since that time. Now, interestingly enough, and the reason why this is such a good indicator was, you see this period where it moved down tremendously. Well, this was the COVID-19 thing, and notice how the 50-day average stayed above the 200-day. That is telling me, this chart is telling me, that this is not a regular pullback. This is a fake out. So this is where you want to start being in the stock here when it crosses, and then as it moves higher. As long as it's staying above, we are accelerating. But when it moves below, that's when we want to be careful. So let's look at another stock that might not have such a good chart pattern. And I want to show you ExxonMobil, because ExxonMobil, which used to be one of the greatest companies in the world, has seen a lot of woe, a lot of tale of woe. And it moved out of the Dow Jones just recently. So this is Standard Oil. This is a historic stock. But look at what's happening. As you see how the 50-day is moving below the 200-day, and you notice how it just continues to move down? Well, that's why you don't want to buy a stock typically if you see this 50-day move below. Now, the when to sell this stock was right here. It failed in this cup and handle. This chart pattern failed, and when it did, the 50-day moved below the 200-day. And it has never got, I've fallen, I can't get up. That's what it is. So it hasn't been viable since the whole time. Just by looking at those two lines, you can tell whether or not you have a chance or not. And that's why, unfortunately, ExxonMobil has not been viable, literally, since June of last year. And it's just getting worse. So unless this pulls up, I'm not interested. So that's how you tell, and it's very interesting. It's definitely what you should look into doing. Well, I have come almost a whole hour here, And I hope that everyone has done well on Tesla and Apple. I'm going to be buying them next week and on the rebound. And of course, I'm going to try to have some trade alerts on that. So if you want to get on the trade alerts list, it's super easy to do. All you have to do is go to www.DallasTradingFloor and sign up for the trade alerts, and we'll get you right on that. And of course, it's all free for everybody. And so thank you again for watching. I so appreciate it. And I will be back tomorrow at 2:30 Central Time. I hope to see you then, and happy trading.